In news overseas, U.S. politicians have to tread carefully on the issue of violent protests following the fatal police shootings of 2 more African Americans. It is especially true of the presidential candidates who don't want to alienate African American voters by siding with the police or antagonize others by criticizing law enforcement actions. The safest thing to express is condolences to the family and friends of the black men recently killed in North Carolina and in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Zlatica Hoke has more on the story.
On the campaign trail in Pennsylvania Thursday, Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump criticized crime and violence in U.S. cities.
Our country looks bad to the world, especially when we are supposed to be the world's leader. How can we lead when we can't even control our own cities?
Trump blamed the situation on illegal drug trade and promised to restore law and order in the country.
We will appoint the best prosecutors, investigators, and federal law enforcement officers in the country to dismantle the international cartels, gangs, and criminal syndicates. And I will stop the drugs from flowing into our country and poisoning our youth and many other people.
His Democratic rival Hillary Clinton addressed the incidents Wednesday in Orlando, Florida, calling the deaths of 2 more black men unbearable. But she also praised the police efficiency amid last week's terrorist activities in New York, New Jersey, and Minnesota. Clinton was not campaigning on Thursday, but her vice presidential nominee Tim Kaine spoke in Reno, Nevada.
There is a need to build better bridges between law enforcement and the communities they serve. Hillary and I understand that. We want to invest in training that will strengthen relationships.
The White House on Thursday condemned the violent protests in North Carolina following Tuesday's shooting.
The president certainly does not believe that there's an excuse for somebody to engage in violence in the context of these protests. But the president also, just as a practical matter, believes that these protests are much more effective and much more likely to have an impact when they're peaceful.
President Barack Obama met with representatives of law enforcement and black community activists in July to hear their views and engage them in a dialogue about community policing and criminal justice reform.